Your heartbeat is adjustable, and the thing adjusting it right now is the room you're sitting in. Entrainment is the physical process by which one rhythmic system locks onto another. It governs your biology in ways you've never consciously registered. By the end of this, you'll understand why certain spaces drain you in minutes, while others make hours vanish, and why the fix has almost nothing to do with willpower. In 1673, a Dutch physicist named Christian Huygens was sick in bed, staring at two pendulum clocks mounted on the same wooden beam. He noticed something strange. The pendulums had synchronized perfectly, swinging in exact opposition, tick for tick, as if connected by an invisible thread. He separated the clocks. They drifted apart. He put them back on the same beam within 30 minutes. They locked again. Huygens called it an odd kind of sympathy. He couldn't explain the mechanism. We can now. Tiny vibrations traveled through the shared wooden beam, each pendulum nudging the other with micropulses of energy until their rhythms converged. The beam was the medium. The sync was inevitable. Your body runs on the same physics. Every organ, every cell cycle, every firing pattern in your brain operates on oscillations, and those oscillations are constantly searching for something external to lock onto. Walk into a quiet cathedral. Within a few minutes, your breathing slows, your heart rate drops, the long reverb of the space stretches sound waves, and your respiratory rhythm reaches toward that tempo. Walk into a trading floor. Phones ringing, voices overlapping, screens flashing. Your pulse climbs, pupils dilate, breathing shallows. You haven't made a single decision. The environment made them for you. This is entrainment operating below the threshold of awareness, and the research behind it goes far deeper than mood. Acoustic studies have measured what happens when subjects sit in rooms with different ambient frequencies. Low-frequency sound, the hum of an air conditioner, the drone of traffic, pulls brainwave activity towards slower oscillation patterns. The subjects reported feeling foggy, sluggish, unmotivated. They attributed it to being tired. They'd slept fine. The room was doing it. Higher frequency environments, birdsong, running water, moderate crowd noise, pulled brainwave activity in the opposite direction. Subjects performed measurably better on cognitive tests. Same people, same time of day, different acoustic profile in the room. So what does this mean for the spaces you actually inhabit? Consider your office or your apartment. Every environment you occupy has a dominant rhythm, even if you can't hear it. The flicker rate of fluorescent lighting, the cadence of conversations through thin walls, the vibration frequency of the building's ventilation system. Your biology is locking onto all of it, all day, constantly recalibrating to match whatever signal is strongest. There's a term engineers use, the dominant oscillator. In any system where multiple rhythms compete, the one with the most energy wins. Everything else entrains to it. In a concert hall, the dominant oscillator is the music. In a hospital ICU, it's the beeping of monitors. In your home at 2 in the morning, it might be the refrigerator compressor cycling on and off every 45 seconds. That compressor hum sits right around 60 Hz. Your brain registers it even when you think you've tuned it out. Sleep researchers have documented how ambient mechanical noise in this range fragments deep sleep phases, the stages where memory consolidation and cellular repair happen. You wake up feeling unrested and blame the mattress. The compressor has been conducting your sleep architecture all night, but entrainment works in both directions. And this is where it gets useful. If your biology syncs to the dominant oscillator in your environment, then changing the dominant oscillator changes your biology. Deliberately, predictably, rhythmic breathing practices work on exactly this principle. When you impose a slow, steady respiratory pattern, say 6 breaths per minute, you're creating an internal oscillator powerful enough to override external ones. Your heart rate variability shifts within 90 seconds. Blood pressure measurably drops within 3 minutes. The breath becomes the dominant oscillator, and everything else entrains to it. Musicians have known this instinctively for centuries. An orchestra warming up is acoustic chaos. 40 different tempos, keys, fragments colliding. Then the oboe plays a single A, 440 Hz. Within seconds, 80 musicians lock onto that frequency. One clear signal cuts through the noise and reorganizes the entire system. You can be your own oboe. The practical implications extend beyond sound. Social entrainment is just as powerful and far less studied. When you spend time with someone, your physiological rhythms begin to converge. Heart rates synchronize during deep conversation. Breathing patterns align. Even skin conductance, the electrical activity on the surface of your skin, starts to mirror the other person's within 20 minutes of engaged interaction. This is why certain people energize you and others leave you depleted, independent of what was actually said. The content of the conversation matters less than the physiological frequency the other person is broadcasting. A calm, grounded person acts as a slow, dominant oscillator. An anxious, scattered person acts as a fast one. Your system locks on either way. Think about the last time you walked out of a meeting feeling inexplicably drained. The agenda was fine. The people were polite. Nothing went wrong. But someone in that room was running at a frequency your system had to work to match, and the effort burned through your reserves without you ever identifying the cost. Groups amplify this effect. Research on crowd dynamics shows that large gatherings develop a collective physiological rhythm within minutes. Heart rates in a stadium synchronize during tense moments of a game. Breathing patterns in a theater align during dramatic pauses. The crowd becomes a single oscillating system, and the individual bodies inside it lose their independent rhythm. This explains why live events feel so different from watching the same content alone on a screen. The screen delivers the information, the crowd delivers the entrainment. That full-body sensation at a concert, the one that feels almost electric, is your physiology locking onto thousands of other bodies oscillating in phase. The music is the catalyst, but the sync between humans is the experience. So what happens when your primary environment is a screen? Digital environments have their own entrainment signatures. The scroll rate of a social media feed creates a visual rhythm. The notification cadence of your phone creates an auditory one. The variable reward timing of new content creates a dopaminergic one. Your biology locks onto all three simultaneously, and the resulting state, fragmented attention, shallow breathing, elevated baseline arousal, becomes your resting frequency if the exposure is long enough. Researchers studying screen time effects have started measuring entrainment directly, tracking how quickly subjects' brainwave patterns shift after picking up their phones. The convergence happens in under 2 minutes. 2 minutes to override whatever rhythm you were in before, and the new rhythm persists for 15 to 20 minutes after you put the phone down. That persistence window matters. If you check your phone every 10 minutes, you never exit the entrained state. Your biology stays locked onto the phone's rhythm all day. The calm, focused state you're trying to reach through willpower exists on the other side of a 20-minute gap you never actually create. The architecture of your day, then, is an entrainment design problem. Every environment you move through is broadcasting a frequency. Every person you interact with is broadcasting one too. Your biology will sync to whatever signal is dominant, whether you choose it or not. The only variable you control is which oscillators you expose yourself to, and for how long. Huygens clocks didn't choose to synchronize. They have no preference, no willpower, no intention. The physics of the shared beam made the outcome inevitable. Your nervous system operates under the same constraint. Put it on a beam with chaos, it syncs to chaos. Put it on a beam with coherence, it syncs to coherence. The beam is your environment. You're already synchronized to something. The question worth sitting with is whether you chose it, or whether it chose you while you were looking at your phone.